actually is the word for culture in Dzongkha? I'm sure you know. Don't tell me you don't. Lamsul or Lamluksul, Lamsul, no? Lamlu, Suljun. So there are quite a few words, but Lamsul has become the most common. It's in current use as a translation for culture. When you talk about Lamsul or Lamluk, there are a wide range of things that you are talking about. And I want to especially mention two categories so that you also overcome two major misconceptions that we have. Is one, culture is about material, sort of visual objects like wearing the go or the tsoklam, doing the shukjal pinzum tsokpa, all sort of vivid, material, tangible objects. The second misconception is, oh, culture is about the past. We don't any longer need it. We are in a new modern world. Let's forget about the culture. So I think we need to understand firstly that culture comes in two categories. One is the inner ways of looking at the world, at other people, at life, the worldview, the outlook, the attitude, the values, the principles, the philosophies we have of life, the mores, the internal thinking and the mindset that informs our behaviors and our languages and our transactions, our habits. So that's the intangible part of the culture. And in Chöke, that's den. It's the meaning. It's the meaning that informs or that underlies the symbol. And from that den, you manifest, you show out the representations in forms of verbal speech, in forms of physical action, in forms of material representation like the paintings on the wall, the textiles, art, architecture, and many other embodied representations. That's da, symbol. Da literally means symbol. So you have da and den. Den informs the da. And when you look at culture in that respect, then it's not just about wearing tsoklams or the go to go to office, or doing the jiglam namsha or shukjal pinsum tsokpa. That's culture. No, culture is how you really look at the world, in the Bhutanese way, in the Buddhist way, if you're talking about local culture. And I think if you understand that, you'll also realize that culture is not just about the past. There are many things that are timeless, that are as relevant now as they were in Shabdung's time or in Gyeongshuk's days. So when you look at especially the intangible part of the culture, the morals and the values and the principles, they become very important for our, not only our progress and prosperity, but for our survival. As an individual, if you go back again to the Buddhist theory of what a person is, there's no karma really, no? Karma is just this assembly or putting together, this congregation of various parts, the physical and the psychological components. So what you see as karma is my body and the way I think, the way I talk, the way I walk. There's so many different aspects put together. And those different aspects are mainly our cultural aspects. The way I think is a cultural part of me, the way I speak and act and so forth. So, because there's no being, no person in reality, I don't know if the young people here would know the word ontological in its actual state of being. There's no karma ontologically. There's a karma only empirically or conventionally. We assume there is a person called karma. And that karma is just a composition of so many cultural aspects. So as a person, as a karma, if I have to survive, I have to have a culture. A good culture preferably. So I have to have a good character, I have to have a good outlook, a good taste, good interest. These make up my internal self. So for an individual, you cannot do without a good culture. And when a person has poor culture, that's when the person goes through lots of emotional and psychological difficulties. And then if you have very good cultured individuals, the community, of course, becomes also a very good cultured community. And then looking beyond a little bit from the individual, if you look at a community like a village, it's often the cultural practices that the events like Sechus, or culture of bereavement and mourning, or culture of giving birth, which brings the families, the communities together. So culture plays a very important role as a cement, as a social fabric to keep people together and have a harmonious community.